must do 4K.
No, IP's the future. It must be IP.
But what about HDR?
Yeah, every new TV has HDR now.
Where every decision is a battle just to make a decision.
All those in favor of doing nothing?
Where the consumer decides not only what to watch, but where to watch, when to watch, and on what device to watch.
What are you doing?
I'm watching TV.
That's not a TV.
What's needed is more choice, more freedom, more opportunity. What's needed today, more than ever before, is Grass Valley.
So can we get a Cayenne?
Sure.
Or Kahuna?
Sure.
What about Morpheus automation?
Sure.
And Itx Flex running in the cloud?
Sure.
Density and IQ modular?
Sure.
What about publishing to social media?
Sure. Okay, so we can get what we need today, but what do we really get from Grass Valley buying Sam?
Well, what do you really want? Greater innovation?
Sure.
More solutions?
Yes,
For
but
easier purchase, deployment, and service.
that would be nice.
Greater global reach?
That would make operations easier.
So what you get is everything.
Huh. Everything.
More choice, more freedom, more opportunity for content your way.
All right. Let's give it up. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for your patience. Still waiting for some guests, but we do appreciate you being here for our press conference for NAB 2018. I'm Dave Cohen, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing Communications, and I'm happy once again to see you all in Las Vegas in April. We have a program for you that should take us right around to the top of the hour, and we'll obviously be focusing on some things that have been going on recently that you may have heard about. Belden has made another investment in the broadcast space, and I know that most of you are eager to hear more about that, and we'll certainly be providing more insights into that for you. And then we'll go into a lot more detail about what's happening here at the show, what customers will be able to see from Grass Valley here at the show, and we're particularly excited to be able to show some very early integration between products from the SAM side of the acquisition as well as from Grass Valley. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. Please come in and grab a seat. So to get the program started, I'm going to introduce to you an executive from Belden who has not spoken to this audience before. His name is Glenn Pennycook, and he's the president of the Enterprise Solutions Platform with Belden, where Grass Valley fits into. So please welcome Glenn.
I'm brand new to this industry, so you get a rookie on your hands. I've been around Belden for about 10 years, and just recently we made a reorganization, and the Grass Valley business now rolls up under my portfolio of companies within Belden Corporation. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about the company, give you some of the background, some of the insights about who we are, and then talk briefly about the SAM acquisition and maybe some of my initial thoughts around the industry and what my observations are after spending the last 60 days of experience in broadcast. So let's talk a little bit about Belden and the company. So we recently reorganized into two global platforms, and we think of our business really in two segments, our enterprise segment and our industrial segment. We really cover all the main applications, and for years you probably knew us as a cable company. We've now rolled all of that cable business and the Grass Valley infrastructure business all into the enterprise platform, where we think we've got a lot of experience with IP, because if you think about the enterprise world and your local area network, I mean, the IP transformation occurred many years ago in the IT world, and so we think we've got at least some expertise in managing through a transition to an IP world. The transformation that's occurred at Belden over the last several years is nothing short of remarkable. My boss, John Stroop, who's our CEO and chairman, came to Belden in 2005. And since 2005, we've deployed a little more than $3 billion in capital towards acquisitions. And on this chart, you can see the various acquisitions we've made over the years. And probably a few to point out is our early entrance into broadcast was in 2009, an acquisition that I was part of at the time, actually, when we purchased a small business called Telecast. Telecast is still part of the Grass Valley family of products today. And then in 2012, I think we made our first real large foray into this field with the purchase of Miranda. Of course, you all know the history after that. 2014, we acquired the Grass Valley business, and of course, most recently in 2018, the SAM business. But you can see along the way, we've built a very strong portfolio of businesses. What Belden realized was our cable connects up to a lot of devices, and we felt like we could bring a much broader, a much deeper solution to our customers through a series of acquisitions, of course, some being in broadcast, but as you can see, many others you'd find within the broadband world and certainly within the industrial networking world and even into the software world and the cybersecurity world with our acquisition of Tripwire in 2015. So along with all of that came a pretty significant transformation of the corporation. So back in 2005, we were about a $1.2 billion company. You can see today we're just north of 2.3, almost 2.4 billion. About a 6% revenue CAGR over that time period. But I think what's more remarkable is if you look at the margin profile. So we went from being an 8.5% business to an 18% EBITDA business, which is pretty remarkable transformation. You can see our free cash flow generation. Back in 2005, we generated 37 million of cash. Today, we generate close to 200 million of cash every year, and our return on invested capital just over 13%. And the reason I want to point some of this out is this industry, particularly the broadcast industry, there aren't any companies that I know of in this industry today that actually has financials like this. Unfortunately, our Grass Valley business today doesn't replicate these financials. However, our view is that this broadcast industry has tremendous potential. We've taken many businesses over the years in segments that were suffering from poor profitability, and we feel like with our disciplined approach to capital allocation, our business systems that we deploy, a very disciplined approach to how we allocate capital within our businesses, we think we can turn our Grass Valley business, and I think if you were at Devoncroft today, our CEO, John, said, we think our Grass Valley business should be a 25% EBITDA business. Today, it's not. There are very few companies, if you look around, we acquire a lot of companies, as you saw on the last slide. There are very few companies in this broadcast space that are actually making any EBITDA. So it points to some real weakness within the segment, within the sector. There is so much excess capacity in the marketplace today. That excess capacity is in the form of excess manufacturing capacity, certainly, but probably more importantly, excess R&D capacity, excess sales and marketing capacity, which really all just is waste. So with all of the fragmentation that exists within this industry today, there's a tremendous amount of waste. And we think there's an opportunity to remove a lot of that waste from the system and end up with a much more attractive business and hopefully a much more attractive industry going forward. So if you look at what we spend in R&D, Belden has a very significant R&D spend. So our annual R&D spend is a little over $130 million. We spend $63 million a year in capital, and we employ over 1,000 engineers. And I must say, a lot of those engineers reside within Grass Valley. So we are a very engineering-rich company. So within this enterprise business, as I mentioned at the beginning, we do serve a variety of different markets. So if you go back in our history, we were a cable company, and we certainly still pride ourselves on being a cable company. We have a fantastic portfolio of cable products. In fact, within the broadcast industry, many of our cable products are the de facto standard in a lot of applications. People use Belden as the reference standard for a lot of cabling. We have a full portfolio of copper, and fiber cabling, all of the connectivity that goes with that. So you can see the natural fit when we buy a business like Miranda back when, and Grass Valley, and now SAM, is that there's a natural fit with our cable business, and we see tremendous synergies when we buy an active company like SAM or like Grass Valley with our cable business. There's a lot of opportunity. Every time we go and sell an opportunity or win an opportunity, there's always cable that goes with it, so there's tremendous built-in synergies with our business. We've all obviously got over to the right side a full suite of networking and software products, primarily related to our Grass Valley business. But then in the middle, we've got a broadband business that's also very significant. So many of the large MSOs in the world are our customers with our broadband solutions business. So very broad portfolio within enterprise. So the SAM acquisition, I think, is very exciting. With SAM, I think we found an outstanding company. We found in the early days of integration, there is I think, a very good culture fit between the two companies. And when you acquire companies, finding companies where the cultures mesh is often the key to determining success or failure. And I think the cultures of the two companies have meshed very well so far. We think we can offer a lot more to customers. We think we've got a very thoughtful product roadmap, a very customer-centric product roadmap, and Tim Shoulders, who will come up here in a minute, will talk more about that. But we think we've really taken the best of the best from both portfolios. We've combined them, we've taken the best, and I think we have a more compelling offering for our customers going forward. We've also improved our geographic reach. SAM had a very strong position, has a very strong position in Europe. That's certainly been an advantage for Belden now with owning them. And I think more than anything, this is an industry that requires scale. The amount of innovation required to keep pace with the trends and technologies requires scale. You have to be able to invest, and our customers expect us to support the solutions we install. So with our financial strength, Belden and Grass Valley are really one of the only companies in the industry today that has the financial strength, the perseverance, and the capability to really see this industry through its difficult times, and I'm confident enjoy the upside that will be coming very soon. I'm not sure when, though. I don't have a date, but I hope to soon. So that was all I had to cover for you today. I do want to introduce Tim Shoulders. Tim got a new picture taken when he got the job, so it looking good, Tim. When I hired Tim, or actually I worked with Tim closely for a number of years. He used to be my VP of Finance, actually, several years ago. Tim had very dark hair at the time, and then took this job 90 days ago, and he's turned gray. So I'll turn it over to you, Tim, to take on the next piece. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody for coming. I'm excited to walk you through our story here with the Grass Valley integration. So we believe we have a really compelling story to share with you regarding the combination of Grass and SAM, and particularly around the product portfolios and the product roadmaps. As Glenn mentioned, as we were combining the product portfolios, we were led by three principles. First principle was we have a desire to bring forward the best-in-class products of both product portfolios to the market. Second, we wanted to the best of our ability, ensure our customers' investments in our products were protected. And then finally, provide a path forward to future innovations and to remain a highly innovative company that can provide our customers with current and cutting-edge solutions. We can share the product roadmaps with you. We pursued a clear product rationalization strategy. At the end of the day, we ended up with a #1 position in our markets of live news and content delivery. And this #1 position means that our loyal customer base, whether from SAM or Grass Valley, wins. Our customers will benefit from greater innovation, better service levels, and an intense focus on creating synergies in our product lines to drive faster, more hassle-free integration of our solutions in our larger and expanded product portfolio. And my expectation is this effort will lead to projects completed on time and on budget. I'm going to take you through some of the high-level product strategies within each of our product lines. And Neil Maycock's going to, my Vice President of Global Marketing, will come up on stage and share with you some of the key technologies behind those product lines. So within live production, this one was really easy to integrate because Sam doesn't have a camera product line. So we have a Grass product line of cameras, the LDX product line, that right now is on fire, of course, figuratively, not literally. And we are doing very well in the market with this product line. It's a very flexible product line. It offers HDR, UHD, 6x slow-mo, so all the features that a broadcaster could want to capture their images. I couldn't be happier with the plan we have for switchers. The acquisition of SAM gives the new Grass Valley unrivaled breadth as we add Maverick and Kahuna to our switcher offering. And we also add the Kula for customers with tight budgets. At NAB, we're launching the Cayenne X Series K-Frame as the most feature-rich switching solution on the market. The K-Frame X offers the largest SDI or IP I/O available at 192 by 96 with no compromises. We have the most comprehensive switcher portfolio available with solutions suited for all kinds of markets, including mobile, studio, news, venues, corporate, and houses of worship. On replay, the SAM acquisition brings us the Live Touch replay system, which in a short time on the market has really begun to build a reputation for ease of use and an advanced feature set. We'll be porting the best features from Dyno into the Live Touch system and presenting the Live Touch as our go-forward replay strategy. Live Touch, integrated with our leading camera and switcher offering, presents a complete solution for capturing live events and telling compelling stories that our customers should love. So on to news. At NAB, we're launching GV Stratis version 6 for news workflow orchestration. GV Stratis version 6 is integrated editing and transcoding, which enables fast and simple collaboration, as well as advanced social media management tools to ensure audience engagement and a wide variety of platforms. We'll be tucking the Rio Craft editor from SAM and the Go HTML5 utility editor into Stratis to improve our customers' experience. Additionally, the Momentum MAM from SAM, that's kind of fun to say, is already integrated to provide advanced workflow capability over a larger pool of asset types. Our already powerful editing lineup will benefit from the addition of the Rio post-production capabilities. And now we're on to content delivery. And in content delivery, we've combined the #1 and #2 solutions for integrated playouts into Grass Valley's portfolio. We have a great story in playout as well. We will continue to develop Morpheus and ITX, and we are launching Itx Flex here at NAB, which is ready for deployment in a software as a service model. As we look at the technologies in each of these platforms, in Morpheus, they have the Morpheus UX interface, which we will be rebranding as GV UX, but it's a fantastic user interface that the SAM team spent a lot of time and effort developing. It's HTML5 based and is extremely flexible. Within ITX, we have GV Engine, which is a fantastically efficient code base designed for performance and stability. And with Itx Flex, it features GV Platform as a true cloud SaaS solution that leverages microservices and HTML5. So we're going to take Morpheus, ITX, and Itx Flex customers, and over time, we're going to bring the best technologies from each of these platforms together, and we're going to develop each of those tools into a combined integrated playout system that, for now, we're calling GV Playout. As we look at the technologies involved, we think the ITX team, or the ITX users, will benefit from the Morpheus UX user interface. We think the Morpheus users will benefit from the stability and the performance of the GV engine code base. And we actually have done quite a lot of work in the last eight weeks to integrate GV engine into Morpheus, and on the show floor, we'll be able to show you Morpheus operating on top of GV engine. Our networking solutions benefit from the ratification of SMPTE 2110, and IP is ready for prime time and mass deployment for those customers where it makes sense. We have the most robust SMPTE 2110 compliant IP solutions, which offer a large amount of flexibility. We have on-air solutions that work with Cisco, Arista, and Juniper COTS hardware. Our go-forward solution features 10 gig, 40 gig, 25 gig, and 100 gig connectivity. We offer reprogrammable IP processing modules, and we have the flexibility to work with both uncompressed and lightly compressed 4K video signals and blocking and non-blocking system architecture to serve both the customer on a tight budget and the one that wants to be completely future-proofed. IP is ready, and the time to buy is now. For modular routing, we'll be leading with our Johnson Tate product line by porting over select IQ modules from the SAM portfolio, which will give us the most flexible modular routing solution on the market. Not shown in this slide, but also important, is that we're bringing the SAM enterprise routers into the family, providing single-link 12G SDI support and integrated multi-viewing. So in conclusion, the new Grass Valley has a great story to tell at NAB, a story of being #1 in the markets we serve and advancing our product portfolio through the acquisition and integration of SAM. We've developed a product strategy that brings the loyal customers of the legacy SAM and legacy Grass Valley along with us through the merger of these two companies with great histories. We're making our legacy one day at a time at the new Grass Valley with a focus on providing our customers with great products that allow them to share compelling stories with their audiences. And with that, I'll turn the mic over to Neil Maycock, my Vice President of Global Marketing, and we'll talk a little bit more about the booth at NAB as well as our technology. Thank you, Neil.
Thanks, Neil. So, Tim gave you a flavor of some of the integrations there, and my job's really to explain how that's going to manifest itself at NAB and what you can see. I'll touch on some of the product introductions, but actually the real details in the press packs that you've got on the memory sticks. So there's so much going on, it's really just the highlights that I'll go through. So this is the booth. As you'll see, quite a different approach to branding. And we've sort of zoned the booth into the different value streams that we have inside the business. So we'll start in the center, which is unnamed. There's a camera zone there. We actually have a live stage there where we're going to be doing interviews throughout the show. That's serving to feed some of the other product lines. So we have the live area where you'll see the production switches, replay, and associated products being fed live from there. Going around to networking, we have the SDI products, the conversion products, IP routing products, and the associated control systems. Then going across the back, we have news production from the Ignite production automation through to Stratis publishing, and we'll be showing some really interesting integrations there. And then content delivery, which is the playout products. At the front, you'll see there's this interactive zone. So as you walk into the South Hall, we're right at the front, and this is, if you like, a self-service where you can come up and customers can walk on the booth and they can find out all about Grass Valley and our portfolio and what we do. So it's going to be interesting to see how well people engage with that. But we weren't happy with one booth, so we've got a second booth about 20 feet away. So seeing as we'd already paid for it, we have 6,000 square feet of offices and desks and lots of coffee machines. Probably the single most important thing for all of you to take away from this meeting is the bits of paper that are on your tables. So in the corner there, we've created a dedicated press area because we recognize that actually the press rooms are over in the North Hall, which is about, what, 3/4 of a mile walk away. So you can come and spend time on our hospitality booth, free drinks, free Wi-Fi, a place to work if you don't want to trek between meetings all the way across NAB. This is probably going to be a one-off. I don't think we're going to pull the second booth thing off at another trade show, by the way, unless we acquire somebody else. So let's look at some of the live productions. So as I mentioned, in the camera area, rather than having some ornate set of shelves with books on or vases that people normally point cameras at, we thought we'd have real people and a real set. So we've set up in the format of a chat show, and we will have various people being interviewed on a schedule throughout the show, and that will provide live feeds for the booth, a bit more interesting things to point the cameras at. And we're also demonstrating a nice augmented reality integration we're doing with the cameras with a company called Moses. Looking at some of the other areas, so Tim touched on some of this in his products areas. So the LDX camera series, cameras are new to me, but I'm deep expert after our 2 days of sales training we've had over the last 2 days, so I can answer any questions at the end, guarantee it. But the cool thing I heard was the sensor technology in these cameras. So the fact that we make our own sensors, which is unique in the industry, and we have a dynamic pixel management mapping, one of the two, DPM, where we can switch the sensor between native HD and native 4K. And then also we have HDR support, and you'll see that through the live production sort of supply chain now, HDR all the way through in our product ranges. The camera control units as well, with our unique cradle functionality, where you can move the control unit between different cradles. The cradle remembers the setup for that particular location. So again, interesting, unique capabilities that just make it easier in an OB environment. The Focus 75, the HD cameras, and then Live Touch from the SAM side, the replay solution, which again, introducing HDR, so we have the full live production capability in HDR. Tim touched on this portfolio of switches. I think we've, as well as sort of closing any gaps where the competition could attack us in our portfolio, we've also extended the range at both ends. So with Cooler at the lower end, really being able to attack the budget market, going up to the K-Frame X at the top end. So largest capability on the market can be fully IP, fully SDI, or a mix without compromising any of the I/O on the switcher. And of course, it's not just a single monolithic switcher. It can be switched into multiple productions and multiple desks off a single frame. As it says on that slide. So, moving on to the next slide. So, news area, quite a lot going on in news actually, and this is one of the areas where we're showing some nice integrations between the two product portfolios. We have a major release with a GV Stratis 6, some really cool stuff happening there where social media publishing and important management of the social media posts after they've gone there, the ability to deploy on generic IT hardware and use generic IT storage, and a big focus in this area is turnkey solutions where it's really quick and easy to deploy this. So Stratis has been a very capable product, but with a lot of products like that, that can be costly and time-consuming to install. We've really changed the model there. So that would have been exciting in its own right, but where it gets really good is where we bring a product like Momentum in, a new workflow and asset management capability being layered onto Stratis, and we'll be showing integrations at the show. Ignite version 11, lots of cool stuff happening there, from tablet control through to whole new user interface experience on the product, and integration with the SAM switches being shown at the show already in 4 weeks and I think the Ignite will be the first formally released product of, rather than a technology demonstration, which is being released early next month. Editor range, so Edius, again, we have proxy, a full craft edit, and a cloud-hosted edit being shown there. We have the Go editor added to the system. So this is an HTML5 thin client editor, can be opened on any device from a tablet to a laptop with no software installed. And as I said before, Rio with the high-end post capability, but also used as a utility news editor by many of our customers. So the principle here is we're just extending the choice of editors that our customers have. We don't mind whatever edit platform they want to do. And with Go, we can start integrating Adobe Edit seats as well. And then maybe moving on to, in the near future, Avid also. So just more flexibility and choice for the customers. So as I touched on before, Stratis 6, big release, social media publishing, and moving from proprietary hardware as a requirement to an option so we can deploy on COTS hardware. Content and delivery, hidden behind our reception that says hello. So this is the playout portfolio. Introduction, a major introduction I'll come back to is Itx Flex. We are sustaining the Morpheus and Itx product ranges, I think as Tim touched on. Actually, there was, when we looked at our sales funnel, we didn't compete too much, Morpheus coming from the SAM side and Itx from Grass Valley. They're actually targeting different applications. So this was a nice area where we could bring the portfolios together and there was not too much overlap. Itx On Demand, again, for being able to produce on-demand assets and not just doing linear playout. So Itx and Morpheus, number 1 and number 2 in the market from the stats that we can get from like the IBM reports, etc. A formidable combination in terms of being able to go to the market and meet virtually any playout application. But Itx Flex is a really interesting introduction. So this is a cloud-native playout solution. So we have underlying technology called GV Platform that's been in development for many years, microservices-based. Itx Flex allows a variety of topologies where the automation system can be hosted in a private data center in the cloud, remotely distributed, and then you can have multiple points of presence for control and for playout of the content. In our sales meeting, Ian Fletcher, our CTO, for playout, demonstrated creating a brand new playout channel from a blank PC to playing out video. I think it was less than 5 minutes. It's a game changer, and the other thing is the underlying technology is incredibly efficient in terms of CPU usage. So there's a lot of solutions out there, and Sam had one where we'd done a heavy lift of a playout application, and we would put it in a virtual machine and run it on the cloud. That was expensive. It used a lot of CPU time, and the cloud guys charge you by, per second of per CPU. The underlying technology here is massively efficient. You can halve or quarter your costs compared with competitive solutions. Definitely worth a look at. Networking, there's a lot of product here. So we have our IP-based portfolio. Again, it was another area where, on the face of it, there were two IP portfolios coming together, but they were actually very complementary. So within the Grass portfolio, there'd been a predominance of 10 and 40 gig technologies. With the SAM portfolio, there was the higher end 25 and 50 gig. So putting the two together is just giving us a far more extensive range. There's some interesting software-based audio processing with Audio Live for doing all that messy shuffling and embedding, de-embedding, and combining, splitting streams. And our approach is, of course, COTS-based switching, not proprietary hardware. On some of the SDI side, the Sirius 840 routers, so embedded multi-viewers, embedded processing. We're still supplying the Envision routers as well, but Sirius will be the platform where we're more extensive roadmap investment. Our conversion products as well, so now available as software, as turnkey solutions, very high-end, conversion through to the more utility QDOS products. Densité is the chosen platform in terms of modular going forward, and then GV Convergent. So GV Convergent is the high-level control system that's going to be complemented by the monitoring control layer from the SAM Orbit system. Again, another example where the two businesses had focused R&D investment in slightly different aspects of the control space, and we're very fortunate that the two come together in a really nice combination to give us a unique solution. So picking out one example from the networking portfolio, so a new IP-based processing module, universal compute processor. This is a module that can have multiple different applications loaded on it in software. So the first one will be an IP to SDI gateway, but then we can put a multi-viewer identity on it, and there will be future different processes that we can put on it. So a hardware card that has software flexibility for different applications. So it's a good story, but talks cheap. And come and see it on the booth. It's real. I didn't do these slides. I wouldn't use my own picture, so I'm not that vain. So on the booth, we've got a lot of proof points for this integration. So live production, we've got coolers running under the Ignite control. In news, we've got Rio editors working with GV Stratis. We've got the Go editor working with GV Stratis. We've got Momentum workflows integrated with GV Stratis. Content delivery, we have GV Engine running under Morpheus control. We have GV UX, which is the new configurable user interface, HTML5 user interface, running with Morpheus. Networking, Densité running under the Orbit control and monitoring, Sirius under GV Convergent control, and the mixed IP topology of all those different IP formats all working together. So that and every SAM product, I think apart from one, so maybe we should have competition to find the one SAM product that's not been rebranded on the booth, you get a prize. But the customers will come up and see an integrated business with a lot of innovation, and within weeks of the companies coming together, we're leveraging the benefit of the combined intellectual properties from the two companies. So I think it's going to be a really exciting show. And I'm going to backtrack on my promise that I can answer any question. And there's a lot of people in the corner of the room over there that will help me out. So are there any questions? So the question was, I'd left out artificial intelligence. It is something we've been looking at, and we've got some dialogues with some of those, with some companies in that space, for instance, automatic logging in the sports domain. Frankly, with the acquisition, our focus and the messaging here at the show is about reassuring our customer base in terms of how we're bringing the business together in a healthy way that's going to benefit for them. I think you'll see some of that more forward, more strategic messaging coming out after the show as we carry forward. But it is a topic we are looking at, and I think that and some other things, there's some pretty cool stuff happening.
Just to clarify, for replay, Dyno is going to be absorbed into Live Touch eventually? That's the roadmap for you guys?
Yeah, so what we're doing is Dyno is what we would call feature complete, so there's not going to be new features going in there. There's ongoing availability for the people that have already invested in it. And then what we're doing is any features that are in Dyno that aren't in Live Touch, we're porting across. So Live Touch will be the superset of the combined capabilities of the products. But Live Touch has got some capabilities that the underlying technology in Dyno wasn't going to achieve. So clustering of servers, sharing of I/O ports between servers, UHD, HDR support was further along with Live Touch.
Now, what consequence, if any, does the acquisition have on your existing customers as far as in this integration of products, I should say, your existing customers who will have to be brought along into this new combined product line? Is it is it easy, or are there going to be certain things that are going to drop?
So
What's the consequences?
The basic principle is it should be business as usual, so that if they're invested in a product line, we're not going to be cutting any product lines off abruptly. There'll be ongoing supply and support and service for the products they've invested in. What they will then get is actually enhanced roadmaps, so those products and the options around those products will expand far more rapidly than with either a business had been independently. So they will get more options, I think, but we're not going to force anybody's hands. The principle is they can move to new technology as and when it fits their business, we're not going to force that timescale on them. There's no immediate discontinuation of any products. What we're letting the products do is follow their natural life cycle. So we've gone through the entire portfolio, and we can sit down on a case-by-case basis with customers to explain where exactly a product was in its life cycle. So is it a mature product that's feature-rich that won't have many more features added, or is it an entry product that's got a very aggressive roadmap? But the key message we keep reiterating is that we're not going to cut anybody off. If you're investing in a product, we'll still keep supplying and supporting it.
The point was made that there's excess capacity in terms of R&D and sales and et cetera, in the industry in general. Do you see more consolidation happening, and if so, are there any likely candidates that Grass Valley might be looking at?
Yes, yes, and yes, but I'll defer to Tim on that one.